I'm going to try and make this video while I still can, because for all I know, by the time I'm done and uploaded this video, there could be a whole bunch more great fight announcements coming through, because there have been so many great ones today. I'm going to start going through all of the fight announcements, giving my reaction and breakdown to every single one of them. They just keep getting better and better throughout the day. I'm just going to refresh the page right now just to see if there's another one that's just come. Oh my god, Josh Emmett versus Shane Burgos just got fucking announced. Every single time I refresh the page, there seems to be another amazing fight announcement. It's just got topped off the entire one. We're going to start with Karl Roberson versus Marvin Vettori. That fight got rebooked. It's on June 20th or June 13th, the card that it's on. Amazing rematch to make. This one's only going to be way more interesting than the initial matchup. And the initial matchup was amazing, and the weigh-in of the initial matchup was almost better than the matchup could have been on fight night, so I'm glad to tune into the next weigh-in of this one. I'm sure Marvin Vettori is going to have a lot of words for Karl Roberson. Amazing fights just keep being announced every single minute today, and I'm looking forward to all of them. Karl Roberson versus Marvin Vettori is an amazing fight. I still don't know why Karl Roberson's name comes first. He's way lower ranked than Marvin Vettori. I've never really understood that whatsoever. But either way, also Marvin Vettori beat Cesar Ferreira and Karl Roberson lost to him. But either way, I'm not going to get angry. They've announced Karl Roberson's name first again. So clearly they want to... He's the A-side to them, I'm sure. Either way, I think Marvin Vettori's going to beat him even worse this time. Especially seeing as Karl Roberson is coming off a botched weight cut. I'm going to go with I'm going to go with Marvin Vettori again here, and I actually think he's going to get the finish this time by third round TKO. Moving on. Another amazing fight announcement has been made. Oh wait, I forgot about two more. Raquel Pennington versus Vivian Araujo. Marion Renault, sorry. Who the fuck cares who Raquel Pennington is facing? So let's just get that one out of the way. And another one, Jordan Espinoza versus Mark De La Rosa. Loser goes home at flyweight. Now, let's get to the real ones. Roberson versus Vettori is amazing. Neil Magny versus Anthony Rocco Martin just got announced. I'm so glad that Anthony Rocco Martin is getting a shot against, in my opinion, what should be a ranked opponent, because Jeff Neal has not beat a single ranked opponent and is somehow number 12 or something right now. Neil Magny deserves to be ranked, and if he does win this one, I want to see him in those fucking rankings, and I will not take no for an answer. Neil Magny versus Anthony Rocco Martin is an amazing fight. Anthony Rocco Martin stepping up on short notice. Same with Neil Magny, but Neil Magny had already tried to fight Marvin Vettori beforehand, so I'm sure that Neil Magny was in training camp and ready to go. Anthony Rocco Martin is just an amazing fighter, last coming off a big win against Ramazan Emeev in the weight class, which was a huge win for him, because Ramazan Emeev is a guy at welterweight who had huge wins over Sam Alvey at light heavyweight. That's how good he is. Neil Magny versus Anthony Rocco Martin at UFC 250. I will say this. For all of the fight announcements that we're having so far, not a lot of them seem to be for May 30th, which really does worry me, but either way, UFC 250 just got an amazing fight. Moving on to another fight announcement. By the time I'm done with this video, there's probably going to be a whole bunch more, so I'm going to refresh it one more time at the end. Either way, Roosevelt Roberts versus Brock Weaver, May 30th. May 30th fight. Great one. Brock Weaver, Roosevelt Roberts. It's a good main card fight. Brock Weaver's a big name for some bizarre reason, because he's Native Indian, I guess. Native American, sorry. I know they get testy about that kind of stuff. Native American. He's a big name because of it, because he wears a funny headdress in the weigh-ins, so he garners a lot of attention, even though he lost his debut by knee. It was an illegal knee, but either way, he still got fucked up the entire time before then as well. It's not like he was winning and then got illegally kneed and got put out cold. He was just getting annihilated. So I think Roosevelt Roberts is going to take this one. He's more well-rounded. He's improving more and more every time. I feel like Brock Weaver has a very simple game plan to defeat him, and I think Roosevelt Roberts can employ that game plan. I think he's going to get the job done. May 30th, great fight for May 30th in Las Vegas on the Woodley versus Burns card. For sure it's going to be on the main card. Moving on, Aspen Ladd versus Sarah McMahon, June 27th. We're getting an idea that they're going to be doing way more events afterwards. We've got an event every single week in June so far as I can tell. Aspen Ladd versus Sarah McMahon on June 27th. Great fight. Sarah McMahon, great wrestler. Held down her last opponent in a really boring contest where she just lays on top the entire time. Aspen Ladd's got really good grappling though, and she sorts out decently good grapplers. She really does. She fought Yana Kunitskaya, who's really good at holding girls against the cage. Aspen Ladd took her down, mashed her face in, then dropped her in the third round and finished her. Sarah McMahon's a good grappler. I think I'm going to go with Aspen Ladd. Just in terms of being a fighter, I think Aspen Ladd's actually pretty good. Okay, and I think she's good enough to... and big enough for the weight class as well, because she's a huge bantamweight, by the way. I think she's good enough. Plus, she had a camp as well not too long ago to face off against Juliana Pena around this time anyway. I believe it was UFC Columbus, which was supposed to be Ngannou versus Rosenstruik as the main event. Aspen Ladd's had a full camp here, which is a big deal. I think she's going to take out Sarah McMahon and get the job done, and thank goodness, because Sarah McMahon might be the most boring female fighter on the roster, and that is saying something. I watched Waterson versus Esparza. Moving on to another fight on the card, or not on any card, but just a new card on May 30th. Tim Elliott versus Brandon Royval. Good stuff. Brandon Royval, a newcomer to the flyweight division. Tim Elliott coming off 2 losses in a row right now at flyweight. Always a fun fight though, Tim Elliott, because he seems to enjoy getting punched in the face, which is very entertaining. I hope that Brandon Royval wins. I think he is going to win, and I really do hope that he does, because if Tim Elliott wins, we just need new flyweights. So I'm rooting for the new guy. It's a great contest. Whatever it's on May 30th is prelims, most likely. I doubt it'll be on the main card. Moving on. Aljamain Sterling versus Cory Sandhagen. Amazing fight. Amazing fight for UFC 250. One thing, the belt isn't on the line, which tells me that my prediction of Usman versus Masvidal for the main event of UFC 250 may have in fact been true, because this one is not for the belt. I have looked into it. Even though Aljamain Sterling has been asking for the belt, it does not say that the belt is on the line. The main event currently is still Amanda Nunes versus Felicia Spencer, which means Piotr Jan versus Marlon Moraes for the vacant belt. I would not have gone with that whatsoever, but I get it. They're both, I mean, Piotr Jan's an international fighter. We need fights right now. We're not going to get Jan on this card because this is not a Fight Island card. This is a card in Las Vegas in the Apex Center. So, Aljamain Sterling versus Cory Sandhagen is a great fight. I feel like Cory Sandhagen's going to get the job done. I like Aljamain Sterling. I actually think Aljamain Sterling has more of a chance against Piotr Jan than he does against Cory Sandhagen, because what Aljamain Sterling can do is go backwards really, really well. But Cory Sandhagen, with his footwork, he's the guy going backwards, and Aljo's going to have to come forwards against him, and Cory Sandhagen is a more rangy fighter that controls range very well. I feel as though Cory Sandhagen's going to get the job done. I also feel as though this is going to be a very, very boring fight. I'm not saying that to be mean. I just think in terms of style-wise, Aljo likes to go backwards and counter. Cory Sandhagen likes to go backwards and counter. I feel as though Aljo's going to be looking to come forward and maybe chop at the legs of Cory Sandhagen, but I don't think it's going to be an action-packed one. I do feel as though Cory Sandhagen is going to get a jump over him. I like Aljo's chances against Piotr Jan more than I do against him and Sandhagen, to be honest with you. I think Sandhagen's a terrible matchup for him. I think Sandhagen's going to come away with the win. Not for the belt, though, so Piotr Jan versus someone else is going to be taking place. I'm looking forward to finding out what that's going to be. Moving on. The winner of this one definitely deserves a title shot, by the way. There's no way they can hold him back anymore. Now, Katlyn Chookagian versus Antonina Shevchenko in the works on May 30th. Good fight on the card. Probably a main card fight because Antonina Shevchenko is fuckable. And Katlyn Chookagian somewhat fuckable as well. So they can be on the main card. I understand it. Good fight. Familiar surname in Antonina Shevchenko. Katlyn Chookagian lost to her sister in her last fight, Valentina Shevchenko. It'll be a good storyline. However, if Antonina Shevchenko does beat Katlyn Chookagian, she's going to be top 3. Which means she's going to be close to a title shot against her sister Valentina Shevchenko. Which I do think would be an amazing storyline if they could somehow do a sister versus sister matchup. Maybe that would be the only Shevchenko matchup I would be interested in. We'll see how Antonina Shevchenko deals with Katlyn Chookagian. I think she will get the job done over her. I like Antonina Shevchenko. I think she could very well go on and match the success of her sister in the sport. Antonina Shevchenko is going to get the win over Katlyn Chookagian. Great fight for the May 30th card. Moving on. Sean O'Malley. The Sugar Show is back against Eddie Wineland. What the fuck, though? I love the fight. Don't get me wrong. I love that Sean O'Malley's taken another fight on short notice after his last one at UFC 248. But please, why Eddie Wineland and why not Brian Kelleher? That makes zero sense. Brian Kelleher, it feels like, has done nothing over the past few months other than win fights and call out Sean O'Malley. And Sean O'Malley's taken on Eddie Wineland. I really don't understand the matchmaking there at all. I don't think this is a challenge for Sean O'Malley, so it's kind of annoying. I thought that it was time for Sean O'Malley to take a jump up in competition a little bit, but they've given him another easy fight to win. Eddie Wineland is good, don't get me wrong, but I just see Sean O'Malley completely annihilating him, and Brian Kelleher has even put a comment on the fight announcement post of a running emoji. maybe the beef will be continued. However, on the bright side, maybe this will only increase the anticipation of a Sean O'Malley versus Brian Kelleher matchup down the line. And maybe we could do a Brian Kelleher versus Ricky Simone matchup very soon. Who knows? Sean O'Malley versus Eddie Wineland. I'll take Sean O'Malley by embarrassing first round KO against Eddie Wineland. I like Eddie Wineland. I just don't think he's going to get the job done. Moving on. Belal Muhammad versus Lyman Good. The fight that was supposed to be on the prelims of UFC 249 is now scheduled for June 20th. Oh, and by the way, O'Malley versus Wineland is UFC 250 on June 6th, which is... Listen, if Nunes is the main event of that card, I'm going to be very, very disappointed. And I'll actually take it as an insult from the UFC. I'll actually take it as somewhat racism, I think. I don't know. I don't know what I'm going to take it as, but whatever I'm going to take it as, it's going to be severe. Okay? That cannot happen. Nunes versus Spencer from UFC 249 to that. However, if it is Nunes versus Spencer, I'm all up for them just stacking the entire card full of fun fights anyway. At least then that could be something that would be fun to watch that wouldn't quite bring in the same pay-per-view numbers. Who the fuck knows, but as far as I'm concerned, Sean O'Malley brings more eyes to the game than Amanda Nunes does. So maybe make him the main event. Who knows? Sean O'Malley versus Eddie Wineland. I think O'Malley's going to KO him in the first round. Casey Kenny versus Louis Smolka. Great fight, but first, let's go back to Belal Muhammad versus Lyman Good. An amazing fight. I feel as though Lyman Good's going to get it done, but Belal Muhammad is always a tricky fighter. He's a very well-rounded guy in a division. He's just lost to some guys that I think that Lyman Good could defeat. Good could. Lyman Good is an amazing fighter. Coming off the corona. Ah, fuck, I'm going to get demonetized, man. Just talking about the beers. Just talking about the beers. Fuck, man, I shouldn't have said that shit. I can swear all I want, but I can't say that fucking word. I'm not even going to get ads anymore. Fuck. Belal Muhammad versus Lyman Good. Amazing fight. I'm looking forward to it. I feel like Lyman Good's going to get the job done by second round TKO or maybe third round TKO. Belal Muhammad once again fighting through Ramadan. I like it because he has won a fight through Ramadan before as well. However, in the third round against a guy who keeps coming like Lyman Good, I'm going to give the advantage to Lyman Good here. I think he's going to get the job done. Lyman Good gets it done. Belal Muhammad's going to gas out in the third round. And Lyman Good's going to get the finish in there. Casey Kenny versus Louis Smolka. Again, not the fight I would make, but they're trying to make do with the American-based fighters right now, so I completely understand. TJ Dillashaw's younger brother is back. Casey Kenny versus Louis Smolka. May 30th card. I like it. Good fight for the card. On the prelims, definitely not a main card worthy bout whatsoever. I'm wondering what else they're going to announce for this May 30th card, because believe me, they cannot leave it at just this. However, moving on to our next fight, Josh Emmett versus Shane Burgos is in the works for June 20th. I have the fights written down that are on that card so far. I believe on June 20th, Belal Muhammad, Lyman Good, Raquel Pennington, Marion Renault, now Shane Burgos versus Josh Emmett, which in my opinion could very well be the co-main event, if I'm honest with you. With a great main event on top of it, this could be a very good co-main event. Josh Emmett versus Shane Burgos. Shane Burgos is my dark horse of the division. I'm going to pick him to win this fight by KO in the third round. I see Shane Burgos as a more educated Michael Johnson. Michael Johnson... and a much bigger Michael Johnson. And a Michael Johnson with a better chin, I consider Shane Burgos with. He's just more clean, he's more technical, he's more defensively aware. I feel like if Michael Johnson can completely school Josh Emmett on the feet for 3 rounds until eventually getting KO'd, Shane Burgos can enact the same results just without the KO at the end. I feel like Shane Burgos is probably going to get this one done by decision. Beat up Josh Emmett for 3 rounds. One thing I do worry about, though, is that in the third round, Shane Burgos really does go for finishes. Every single fight in the third round, if he has not got a finish in the first 2, he will start putting on the pressure in the third round. It worries me that he might walk into a Josh Emmett Hail Mary punch out of nowhere and maybe get KO'd, but Shane Burgos has an amazing chin. I've never seen him put out cold, even though he's been finished before by Calvin Kattar. That shows you how much of a good chin that he has. He took big shots off Kattar, was even standing when the fight was called off. Little bit of an early stoppage, but it was a decent stoppage. I don't mind it. They're not fighting for a belt or anything, so you know. Josh Emmett versus Shane Burgos. Amazing fight. I think Shane Burgos gets the job done over Josh Emmett, but even still, I'm going to refresh the page one more time. Oh my days, we just had 2 more fight announcements. Julia Avila, oh, they're shit. Sorry guys, I just got you excited. Julia Avila versus Karl Roberson, June 13th, and then fucking Ariane Lipski versus who? Luana Carolina. Yeah, there's some good fights. I'm not even going to give a prediction, but whatever. Good stuff. They're on cards, and we need fights on cards because we have cards that need fights on them. Good stuff. That's kind of ended the video on a real low note, I'll be honest with you guys, but amazing fights. I'm going to try and upload this video before there's any more fights announced, but if there are more fights announced, I'm just going to make another one of these videos tomorrow and go through all of them again. Thank you for watching. I really... Oh, I burped at the end. Really? Fuck's sake, man. This whole video has been shit. Like and subscribe. Thank you for watching. Click that video there. Ah! Click that button there. I'm actually a disgrace. I'm a disgrace. Click that button there. It's there. Like there. Fuck. See you later. It's too hot today. I swear it's doing something to my brain. Goodbye.